Well, many of us have struggled to know how to adjust and respond to the complete societal upheaval that coronavirus has brought. So I've developed a list of resources to help you navigate these uncertain times, to help parents and their children grow in their trust in Jesus and to grow closer together as families. I've also provided some general resources to help you keep up to date with the coronavirus and to help parents with their home learning. My first section is Christian resources. The Christian resources I've put together come in 6 categories: articles, podcasts, books for adults and older teens, books for all teens, discipleship resources, practical tools for showing love to your community. Firstly, articles. The first one is 5 Ways to Disciple Your Teen Whilst in Quarantine by Starla Thomas and Justin Weavers through Gospel Coalition. In essence, it goes on to explain, let your youth see you trusting God in the midst of fear, bring back devotional time, tell them why they don't need to be afraid, practice social media distancing together, and enjoy a good gift together during this time of loss. The second article is 7 Tips When Talking to Kids About Coronavirus by Sandy Victoria, again from the Gospel Coalition. The points expanded upon are: understand that children respond in a variety of ways, know that silence is not the answer, encourage children to use their words, pray with children, encourage children to respond with love, be careful with what children see and hear, remind children that God uses everything, even coronavirus, to achieve his plans. The third article is Don't Be Anxious About Anything. Is That All God Has to Say? By Paul Grimond, again from the Gospel Coalition. And he goes through the points: what does the Bible have to say? The bigger picture, anxiety in a fallen world. What about Christians who suffer from anxiety? How the gospel of grace helps our anxiety, and realistic expectations. Now moving on to podcasts. The first is How to Talk to Children About the Coronavirus by John Piper. In this podcast from Desiring God, John Piper helps youth trust God and gives youth courage with the opportunities they have for the gospel in this time. The second one from John Piper is How Do I Fight My Coronavirus Fears from Desiring God. In this talk, John Piper discusses the unshakable peace we can have when we stand upon the sure foundation of our sovereign God. And the third is from Philip Jensen on The Pastor's Heart. It's called How COVID-19 Changes Evangelism. And it can be found either on The Pastor's Heart or on philipjensen.com. In this episode, Philip Jensen dissects the weaknesses of the individualistic and materialistic foundations of our culture that it has built upon. He also discusses the advantages we have for evangelism in a society that has sobered to the reality of death. Thirdly, books for adults and older teens. The first is Coronavirus and Christ by John Piper. In this book that is free from Desiring God, or $12.99 at Reformers Bookshop, John Piper invites readers to stand on the solid rock, who is Jesus Christ, in whom our souls can be sustained by a sovereign God. The second one is Where is God in a Coronavirus World by John Lennox. Oxford mathematics professor John Lennox examines the coronavirus in light of various belief systems and shows how the Christian worldview not only helps us to make sense of it, but also offers us a sure and certain hope to cling to. It's $7.20 at Reformers Bookshop. The third is Walking with God Through Pain and Suffering by Tim Keller. Got that one just here. Tim Keller helps us understand how to deal with pain and suffering in both our own lives and in the world around us with sensitivity to the contemporary culture and pastoral wisdom. It's $19.99 at Reformers Bookshop, but as you can see, I have a copy which I'm happy to lend. The next book is Suffering and the Sovereignty of God by John Piper and Justin Taylor. This book tackles some of the most important issues to answer the greatest need we might face amidst suffering. It's a free book at Desiring God. It's also $22.99 at Reformers, and I have a book a copy of that I can lend. Fourthly, books for all teens. The first is Suffering and Evil in the Little Books series by Youth Minister Scott Petty. In this short book, Scott Petty guides youth through the Old Testament story of Job, dealing with some of the most common questions people have about suffering and evil. It's 56 pages. It's really short. $6.99 at Reformers, and I have a copy I can lend. The next book for all teens is Caring for One Another: 8 Ways to Cultivate Meaningful Relationships by Edward T. Welch. The goal of this book is to help people build meaningful relationships that shine the spotlight on Christ. It's 71 pages, so it's very short. Each chapter is about 8 pages. It's $11.99 from Reformers Bookshop, and I have a copy that I can lend. In terms of discipleship resources, you can use the Uncover resource to go through the Gospels with someone. It's at uncover.org.uk, and it provides guided context and guided questions and videos to make reading the Gospels online really easy with someone. And the second thing is Two Ways to Live, which you can find at twowaystolive.com/2, the letter 2, WTL online.html, and it's an easy to use evangelistic tools. The sixth is practical tools for showing love to your community, and you can get a free printable resource for offering practical support to your neighbors at virtualchurchassist.com/viral kindness. Section 2 is general resources. The general resources I've put together come in 3 categories. Firstly, free online games that you can play as a family. Secondly, helpful apps and websites to navigate COVID-19. And thirdly, resources for home learning. So firstly, free online games you can play as a family. The first is Pictionary, which you can do at scribble.io. The second is Catan, which again is about 7 players. You can find the free version at colonist.io. The next is Codenames, which you can find at www.forcepaste.com. The next is Secret Hitler, which you can do at https://secrethitler.io. And the next is Evil Apples versus Humanity, which is similar to Cards versus Humanity. And it's a free app on the App Store. The second is helpful apps and websites to get the latest on COVID-19 restrictions. You can download the Service New South Wales app to get COVID-19 mobile alerts about the latest restrictions as they're announced. You can download the New South Wales School Updates app to be notified on operations at your school. The New South Wales Government website is the best source of information for people on COVID-19. It includes information on latest statistics, social distancing guidelines, and how to protect yourself. And lastly, stay up to date with official information and advice about the coronavirus situation through the Coronavirus Australia app. You can check your symptoms and get notified when urgent information and updates are published. And lastly, resources for home learning. You can follow the New South Wales Department of Education Facebook page for updates and tips on home learning. Secondly, you can be connected. You can join the Be Connected Learning Portal. Be Connected is an Australian-wide initiative empowering all Australians to thrive in a digital world, providing online learning resources as well as a network of community partners. The Be Connected network offer support to you to help you develop your digital skills and confidence. And it's free to use, and it contains heaps of practical tips. And lastly, to help parents interact constructively with their children during this time of confinement, the World Health Organization has developed 6 one-page tips for parents covering planning, one-to-one time, staying positive, creating a daily routine, avoiding bad behavior, managing stress, and talking about COVID-19. You can find them all through the World Health Organization website. And I hope that's all been helpful for you. And I'm sure there are resources I've missed, which I encourage you to possibly share with others in our community. And I'm praying for us that we might continue to trust God and grow together under Him and support one another in this time. Thanks.